Hi there, this is video number 4 in our 5-part series on how to evaluate your sources. This video is going to focus on determining the objectivity and the purpose of the article. For this video, we are going to continue using the article we've been talking about in the other videos, as well as the Motor Biscuit page that we have also used. So let's go ahead and get started. One of the first things that we want to look at is whether there are advertisements on the page. Advertisements aren't inherently bad, but they can be a signal that it is not a scholarly resource. So let's go ahead and scroll through our article. And you can see over on the right-hand side, there are other recommended articles. It's not advertisements. When we keep scrolling, we don't see a single advertisement. So already we are off to a very good start with that one. And then we're going to compare that to our Motor Biscuit page. And the first thing that you see on this website is a giant ad. There's a pop-up video down in the corner, another ad. And as we scroll down, we just continue seeing more and more ads as the page goes. But it's not a scholarly resource. The next thing that we want to look at is whether they're trying to sell you on a specific product or service. And I read through this entire article, and not once does it mention a single specific company or product that's produced. Instead, it focuses on autonomous vehicles as a whole. And talking about a certain product doesn't necessarily mean it's not academic. And here's one of the things that you'll see sometimes. You will see different articles that are comparing products or comparing different companies or services provided. And that's a little different. In these articles, you will generally see a justification for why they're saying that a certain product is better than another one. There's usually a lot of justification, a lot of data involved in making that call. So one of the next things that we want to tell people to look at is who funded the research. And when we look at that, we kind of want to consider, is it funded by a corporation or a special interest group or even a political organization? Sometimes, not always, it can put additional pressure on the researchers to find data or skew data in a way that is preferential or looks good for the supporting agency. So with this one, I wanted to go over to the additional information, and then we can see here that the funding was through the university that they already work for. So we can't really necessarily see anything that jumps out and is bad. But there have been researchers in the past and in the present who do let themselves be pressured to produce certain data so that they can continue their funding or continue their research. But with this one, we don't really see anything that is raising a red flag for us. The next thing that we want you to look at is whether or not there's a clear explanation of the purpose of the research. And a lot of times you can find that in the abstract or the introduction. So let's go up there now. And we can see in the first sentence already the start of the purpose. The benefits of autonomous vehicles are widely acknowledged, but there are concerns about the extent of these benefits and AV risks and unintended consequences. And then it goes on further to say, our analysis reveals that thus far governments have been avoiding stringent measures in order to promote the autonomous vehicle development. So we're already seeing here that that's a big part of the purpose. And then throughout the article, it reconfirms that there are consequences that need to be considered when building the legislation around autonomous vehicles. We also encourage you, when you're looking at articles, to kind of see, is this objective or is it subjective? So is it something that we're saying, here's how I feel about this item or this topic, or is it showing a more objective stance where they're saying, here's what we think based on this data, here's why we feel this way. And then the last thing that we want to look at, and it's kind of hard to show in this article, but we want to know, is the source purely educational? So after reading through the entire article, I do believe it is. It's something that is really focusing on educating the reader about the need for more policy related to autonomous vehicles and the safety. Never even mentions a single company or a single product, a single vehicle. It just kind of gives an overview of some of the main topics of concern that are not necessarily being addressed. So this wraps up determining the objectivity and purpose of your sources when you're doing your evaluation. So meet us back in video number 5 on privilege and bias.